You know, I would like to think that I'm diligent. I'd like to think that I work hard, and I'd like to think that I bring ideas to the table. When I was growing up, I'd say I began watching just movies on television like a lot of other people. And it wasn't until I got to university that I began to realize there were movies that weren't just entertainment, but that were actually about something, that were about ideas that were a little more challenging. And that was when I got into Jean-Luc Godard and Alfred Hitchcock and some of the great Japanese filmmakers. And I began to see there's a whole world of filmmaking that expresses just the full range of what human beings do. You know, my career has really been about being a film programmer, festival director now, and a film critic. I was a film critic for almost 20 years. But at the same time, I mean, I was always writing about and responding to other artists' work, and there was a time when I wanted to do my own work as well. Clement Virgo, the director, is a good friend of mine, and he came to me with a project called The Planet of Junior Brown, which was an acclaimed novel by Virginia Hamilton. We decided to adapt it together, so we wrote that screenplay and he directed it in 1997. The film won some awards. I think it did quite well with an audience. And then more recently, I made a short film, which I wrote and directed, called Hotel Saudade, and I shot that down in Brazil. And again, it was really just an opportunity for me to actually just, you know, flex another muscle, to try to get a feel for what the creative process of making a film is. So I was really glad to be a part of that creative process, because it is very different from writing about films to actually write a film. You know, the words of inspiration that I could offer to filmmakers really have to do with what's possible if you make a film, and if you make a film that touches people, that really affects an audience. The one thing that new media and the technology have given people in the film world is just easier access. The door is open. If you've got a cheap video camera and you've got a good idea and a good story to tell, you can get your movie out there to people. All you need is really the drive to do it and a few educational tools in terms of just making a movie. And that's pretty easy to acquire now. But I think if you've got passion, if you've got a good story, it's much easier to do that. It's still an open question in terms of what the future is going to hold. Obviously, there's a lot more happening online now. People are using mobile devices to see movies in the way that they didn't used to. What I still like, though, and what a festival can give you in a way that nothing else can, is that gathering of people together to watch a movie as a shared experience and respond to it. I mean, one of the great things about a film festival, or anytime you watch a movie with other people, is that you get a sense of what other people think about that movie when they're crying, when they're laughing, as opposed to your own personal reaction, and that creates something new. I'm always busy with the festival with Tiff. It is a very demanding job, and there's a lot of responsibility attached to it. Just this year at the festival, which I think is kind of in a way related to Planet Africa, we were able to bring a very big gala premiere of a film called Precious that Lee Daniels, the African-American director, made. He brought it to Toronto with his stars, including Mariah Carey and Paula Patton, Sherry Shepherd, and also the executive producers, Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey. And to have that team of creative people in Toronto on stage at Roy Thomson Hall with a house full of 2,000 people on their feet cheering before the movie even started, just cheering at the sheer creative power in the room, that was exciting. That's something I'm very, very proud of. We live here. We live in Canada, and the artists here are telling us something about our own lives, about our own experiences, about something that's unique to here, and it's always going to be different from what you're going to get from the US or from Britain or from the Caribbean or from Africa. Wherever you look, the artists always speak most convincingly and most persuasively about their own direct experience. And I think if you're interested in some reflection of your own life experience and your own vision of the world, you're going to find that in your own artists, and that's why I think we need to support Canadian artists.